In today's episode of Fight News, we have updates from the main event of UFC London as well as the main event of UFC 311. Kamaru Usman's next fight, Edwards vs Yafai results, Beterbiev vs Bible purses, and more. To keep you updated with the fight world, let's start from UFC London main event. Leon Edwards revealed in DAZN Boxing broadcast that he is headlining the UFC's O2 card in London on March 22nd. He did not specify who his opponent would be, but if you look at the rankings, the most sensible matches for him is either Sean Brady or Jack Maddalena. But because it is also reported that Della Maddalena will return to the octagon at UFC 312 in front of his home crowd against former champion Kamaru Usman, so it is safe to say Edwards could be taking Sean Brady in the main event of UFC London. Former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz also seems to have fight news coming soon, so you tell me in the comment section who could be his next opponent. Francis Ngannou keeps the talk of a fantasy matchup with Jon Jones alive by issuing another call-out, and UFC bantamweight title contender Nurmagomedov reveals a recent arm injury that kept him from accepting a fight for the January card, but says now he is ready for a fight. Maybe you don't know, but he can't fight in February or March as well because of Ramadan, so you can expect his return in April or later. Khamzat Chimaev also revealed at Hustle podcast that he had half his thyroid removed, 5 to 6 surgeries and 7 to 8 fractures over the past few years that prevented him from competing as often as he wanted. But now he is healthy and fans will be able to watch him more often. UFC 310 fight week has begun, so the talks between the main event fighters. Kai Asakura plans to knock out Alexandre Pantoja in a spectacular fashion at UFC 310. He warns those who are watching him for the first time not to blink. Kai Asakura also revealed that his first ever real fight was against his older brother, who was a street fighter and had run out of opponents. It made Kai realize his potential, leading him to pursue an MMA career. We know that Islam Makhachev vs Arman Tsarukyan is expected to headline UFC 311. Now Arman Tsarukyan confirms this in an interview with TNT Sports that he is indeed fighting Islam Makhachev in the beginning of next year, and the location and date has been set. The official announcement will be expected to be revealed next week. Tsarukyan says he intends to finish Islam Makhachev, as it is written in his contract that if he gets the finish, he will get more money. He also says that although he would try to finish the fight, the main thing is to win the belt, so it doesn't really matter how he wins the fight. He also says that if he wins the belt, he wants a rematch with Charles Oliveira to finish him this time. UFC 311 co-headliner Jamal Hill adds more context to his fight against Alex Pereira at UFC 300 and says that Pereira advanced during a timeout, leading to him getting knocked out. He also goes off on Michael Bisping as he wasn't happy with the sore loser remarks by him. Bisping in response explains he was being nice and not talking shit. Now let's move towards the boxing side. IBF featherweight champion Angelo Leo will defend his title against former world champion and IBF featherweight number 1 contender Tomoki Kameda in February 2025. Diego Pacheco vs Steven so-called Nelson set for January 25th in Las Vegas, with Andy Cruz vs Umar Salcido fighting undercard. Eddie Hearn has declared during an interview with IFL TV that they have now made an official offer to Mario Barrios to defend his WBC welterweight world titles versus Conor Ben. Hearn insisted Ben will prioritize Barrios over Chris Eubank Jr. next, as the Eubank Jr. fight will take longer to negotiate. The Riyadh season February 22nd card was on the verge to be the greatest card in boxing history, but then first William Zepeda pulled out of the Shakur Stevenson fight. Then yesterday we found out that Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz is also dead because Ennis don't want to move up to super welterweight. Now Ennis speaks out on the fight collapsing and says that he was unaware that alleged negotiations were being made on his end. He tells his fans not to believe any news related to him until it comes from his own account. Virgil Ortiz also speaks out on the fight collapsing and explains that fight cancellation was not his fault because it takes two to tango in boxing. Turki Al-Sheikh in response ensures him that he will have a great fight, and looks like now we are getting Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Xander Zayas for the February 22nd card, as Zayas says he has accepted an approach to fight Virgil Ortiz next. Potential purses for the potential co-main event of this card are revealed by the promoters, who promise Beterbiev and Bivol twice as much money for the rematch. Top Rank said the boxers could earn $20 million or more for the rematch, which could take place in Saudi Arabia in February. As far as the main event of this Riyadh season card is concerned, Vladimir Klitschko has reportedly been in talks to potentially return to the ring and challenge Daniel Dubois for his IBF heavyweight world title, but this idea has now been abandoned and Joseph Parker is the one who will most likely get this opportunity. 48-year-old Klitschko would have broken George Foreman's record as the oldest heavyweight world champion had he taken the fight and won. And finally, a little talk about last night's Matchrooms card, where Yafai stopped Sonny Edwards in round 6 to win the WBC interim flyweight belt. Sensational aggressive performance from Yafai as he dominates every stage of the fight and completely demolishes Sonny Edwards to set himself up for a world title shot in stunning fashion. Sonny Edwards was not in the rhythm and he was telling his corner in between rounds that he doesn't want to be there.
No, I'm meant to be broken. I don't want to be.
He bows to Yafai and hands him the belt after being stopped by him. He then announced his retirement from boxing at the age of 28 immediately after his defeat, and then showed more respect for his opponent by uploading a picture with him on his Instagram account. Former world champion Callum Smith also had his first fight since losing to Beterbiev in January, and he defeats Carlos Galvan in a successful tune-up by 5th round TKO to improve his record to 30 wins and 2 losses with 22 knockouts. Eddie Hearn had mentioned leading up to this fight that if Smith was victorious on Saturday, he would look to make a big fight for him in Q1 of 2025. So Smith versus Boatsi would be a great British matchup next. Last and least news is that Kurmel Morton has explained why he came in 15.7 pounds overweight for his since cancelled fight originally scheduled for last night. And that's all, because now you are completely up to date with the fight world. Like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. Now I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, watch the new horror trailer for Usyk vs Fury rematch by clicking the link in the description, and then do whatever you want.